In the previous episode of Chasing Carnivores, we embarked on our fieldwork with the Endangered Wildlife Trust, as well as some self-driving safaris. We found some breathtaking carnivore species, my first ever wild lion, and eventually a pride with some extremely cute lion cubs. And the next day, we headed straight back into the field. So the pride with the cubs we saw the other day, we know it's around in this area. But the bush is so thick, it's really hard to find them, to eventually get their whisker spots to ID them. So we're just driving really slow, just paying real good attention, focusing on these areas where they might be laying down. So I hope we can really find them, so fingers crossed. After driving this road for a couple of hours, we noticed some movement in the bush all of a sudden. But nothing could have prepared us for what we were about to witness as we tried to find a better angle.
It's not the whole pride that we found, it's just one male and a female. But we assume that the female might be in heat and that they separated from the pride, likely to mate. We're still trying to get a good idea of the left side of the male. We have the IDs, they're now just sleeping. Especially the male is very tired, you could really see it like falling asleep.
However, their sleepiness didn't last long, because as expected, after a little while the female went to the road, only to be joined by the male a bit later, after which we witnessed something extraordinary. One of the most special encounters I've ever had with a carnivore.
This mating usually can lead up to 50 copulations every 24 hours. So about every 20 to 30 minutes they mate, so it's a very intense affair. If a lioness gets impregnated, the gestation period is about 110 days, 108 days, and then you normally get a litter of 6 cubs, which is what we saw yesterday.
On our way back from this amazing day, there was lots of wildlife on the road. Many species choose for the roads simply because they have less obstacles and therefore provide a path of least resistance. So here we have just a prime example of why these carnivores use these roads. It's a lot easier for them to walk through these roads without obstacles for them. But now that we're approaching with the car, you'll see that this one will also then again take the road again. The following day, the first cycle of field work in Phalaborwa was concluded, which meant we had to pack up camp and relocate to another area, Letaba. After setting up the camp, we dove straight into the fieldwork planning for the coming weeks. So this is our first morning of the survey from Letaba camp. So this is the second camp that we're at now. Catch some lions that we can then hopefully identify as well. Our route for that day covered an extensive area surrounding Olifants camp, where we got up close with an interesting prey species of the lion. Another species that the lions like to prey upon are the water buck. And they can be recognized by their distinguished circle, the white circle on the end of their butts, And what's interesting about these water bucks is that they have a very unique way of escaping lion attacks. What they do is they run into the water, and they're very agile in the water, which allows them to escape lions quite easily. Unfortunately, even though the area was breathtaking, not every day can be a success in terms of carnivore sightings. Although not all carnivores are mammals, of course. We also have the gorgeous birds of prey here, like the bateleur and the fish eagle, which we actually saw mating yesterday. And just now we actually ran into another couple of bateleurs who were plucking each other. Very cute and gorgeous to see with their red heads. It's amazing. But these were not the only birds of prey that we saw in these last weeks. Kruger Park is rich in many other bird species that often go unnoticed because of this huge variety of wildlife. But they have a myriad of very colorful bird species, for example from this bird hide right here, which overlooks the Letaba River. Beautiful species, some of which I will show you now. Throughout our week in Letaba, the team got up early every single day in the hopes of identifying as many lions present in the area as possible, which brought us through some spectacular landscapes and past some incredible species of wildlife. When humans think of animals that they perceive as a threat, they usually tend to think of the carnivores. Hippos are actually an animal that you should really look out for as well, because if they perceive you as a threat, for example a boat, when they have a calf, they will not hesitate to launch an attack. And they can run as fast as 40 kilometers an hour, and they're often underestimated. And therefore the hippo has very few natural predators. Occasionally a young calf might be eaten by a crocodile or a hyena or a lion, but it has such a strong bite force it will simply bite a lion or even a human in half. That wouldn't be the first time that would happen, so keep an eye out for the hippo. On this particular day, there was lots of wildlife out and about, so we kept scanning the area, fully concentrated to spot out any present lions.
We found lions again. Thus far there's 3 females, but they're all sleeping, so it's really hard to get the ID shots. But we're staying patient, and Linda is positioned well back here, so...
Slowly but surely, the lionesses were eventually waking up, which meant that we had to stay alert for potential ID shots of their left and right whisker spots. And as you can see, this female was already quite old and likely sick, judging from her physical appearance.
Three lionesses here, and for the photos it's critical that we can separate them. When I take a photo of one of the lionesses for identification and I change to another lioness, if I go back to the first lion, I take one photo of a leaf in between. If I go back to the second, I take 2 photos of a leaf in between, and for the third lioness I take 3 photos of leaf in between, so that's how we can separate them. If a lot happens at the same time, it's always difficult to manage it, and because I'm just so eager to get these photos that we need.
So after some time we finally got the IDs, and then a tourist informed us that there's 7 other lions just ahead from the viewpoint. So we're about to head there now. Linda's just quickly recording these lions and then we'll head up there. Upon arrival at this site, we were simply blown away by the amount of lions that were present here. We counted at least 9 individuals in this pride, each of which we had to take identification photos of. So this was just beyond amazing. We had 9 lions just after we had the 3 lionesses already. It was very challenging because they were moving around and you had to keep track of which lion was which, and you had to of course take the left and the right side of the ID. So while Linda was busy trying to take the photographs, I was also logging at the same time. Okay, we have this side of that lion. So it was quite a hassle, but still beautiful to see. These weeks in Letaba were my final fieldwork days with the EWT. It was truly an honor to contribute to their crucial lion survey work, and I will cherish these experiences for many years to come. And if you could consider donating to the EWT or Lion Recovery Fund, that would be highly appreciated. In chapter 8 of Chasing Carnivores, we set out on many more self-driving safaris in the south of Kruger, where the wildlife seems to simply be around every corner. A few of my most incredible wildlife encounters took place on these safaris, so make sure to tune in for this chapter as well. And if you like this content, make sure to show your support by subscribing to our channel. Thanks for watching, we hope to see you back.